I would say to stay strong in who you are as a Jew, and when you waver or you keep Shabbos sometimes or keep kosher sometimes, then they don't respect you for that. But when you do it all the time, no matter what, no matter if it's a practice 4 months away from the season or it's the championship, if it's on Saturday, we're not going to play. And I think people respect that no matter how big the game is, nothing's bigger than God and nothing's bigger than Shabbos.
Welcome to Ordinary People with Extraordinary Stories. I'm Chana Weisberg, host of this podcast. Joining me today, we have two incredible brothers. Their names are Ari and Eli Kligman, and they are both baseball players. They are professional baseball Jewish players, and they've played for the Sacramento State University, and their goal is to play for the Major League Baseball. Ari and Eli, thank you so much for joining us. Welcome.
Thanks for having me.
us.
Thank you. So tell us a little about yourself. How did you get into baseball? What's your background like? Tell us where you come from.
We were both
Ari,
born
you
in
want to start? Really?
or,
Go
we were
ahead.
both born in San Diego. We've lived in Vegas for most of our life. Our father works in the baseball business as a player agent, so we kind of got introduced to the game at a young age, and it was a big part of our lives. So we were just kind of always into baseball, and then we played when we were younger, and we played all the way until we're here in college.
Wow, interesting. And where are you both now? You're both located in different places?
I'm in Ann Arbor, Michigan.
Yeah, I'm in Sacramento right now.
Okay, so how do you play together, or you're not playing together at this point?
We played together last year, but then Ellie transferred to the University of Michigan, and I stayed at Sac State, so not anymore.
Uh-huh. Okay. And what's your training like in order to play for baseball?
It's a little different for each of us because we play different positions. But for me as a pitcher, you lift weights, you do mobility, sprinting, stuff like that, and then obviously you throw every day, trying to improve your mechanics and your command.
Hmm.
I mean, for me, you're doing a lot of stuff for your position. So as a catcher, we're doing a lot of stuff as catchers, practicing all the things we have to do for that. And then obviously hitting, we take a lot of swings, we do a lot of practice with that. And then besides that, it's a lot of weight training and then just trying to get your body stronger and faster.
Interesting. Now, tell us a little about your Jewish education and your Jewish background.
So we both went to Chabad day school um, through 8th grade. Both in the school in San Diego and in Vegas. And then in high school, we both did an online school just through the state of Nevada, and we did our Jewish learning with rabbis in the community.
Interesting. Very interesting. Okay, so what's it like to serve as I know you were trying to serve as siblings, as pitcher and catcher, as both of you. Like what's it like to do that as brother and as brothers? And is there like any kind of sibling rivalry between you guys?
I mean, when we throw to each other, it's pretty cool because we have more of a connection with each other. We're on the same page with what pitch we want to throw. There's a trust element there. As far as sibling rivalry, I mean, there's always been a sibling rivalry, I guess, growing up, like when we were little. But we haven't really.
How many are in your family?
Three. Ellie has a twin sister.
Ah,
Yeah,
interesting. And what's your age? What how old are you all?
I'm 21.
I'm 22.
Okay, so you're all close in age.
Yeah.
Wow. So as far as sibling rivalry, like who's better or what, how do you handle that?
Well, I mean, growing up, I was always better because I'm
Uh,
older. I'm
Okay,
older, so I
of
was always
course.
better. But as we kind of got older, we played like different positions, but we worked together. So I feel like when we play together, the rivalry is not there. It's like more of a team than a rivalry, just because we're
Mhm,
working together. But I
mhm.
mean, growing up, yeah, there was a lot of that.
also in college, we haven't played against each other really. So you're either with each other or we're on teams that don't play each other.
Hmm. Yeah, what are the chances that you'll get into major league?
I mean, I guess it's always low for everyone, but I mean, we have a strong belief that we're going to get there.
Amazing. Tell us a little about how you play in a professional baseball with your values, with your Jewish values, and how does it conflict?
I mean, we haven't gotten to the professionals yet. We're still in college, but I would say they would coincide. If anything, I think that you can. I mean, everything you do, you have your values, your Jewish values, and the things that you do every day. And I think that's just a part of what we do when we're playing. With the faith in ourselves, the faith in Hashem, like it's all one and the same. Um, And honestly, on my experience, and I think Ari's had a very similar experience, is that we've had nothing but support from people. I mean, most people we play with, they have no idea like what we do. So it's really just a big learning experience for everybody. So most people are just curious on what we do every day. But the experience has been positive for me.
And how do you explain to people what like, do they have questions about yourself when they ask you about what you do? What are your explanations?
Yeah, I mean, they always ask about Shabbos and kosher and like all that kind of stuff. And you just give them the answer. The best you know the answer, and they enjoy it. They like learning about it, and yeah,
So what do you tell them? Like, what do you tell them about Shabbos?
I tell them it's my favorite day of the week. I get to rest. Um, yeah, I explain to them like what we do for davening and what we do like for Friday night meals and Saturday meals and like what we'll do. You invite people over, you play board games, you read, just kind of whatever we do on that day. I just tell them exactly what happens.
And how does playing affect Shabbos? Like, how has your team helped you so that you don't have to play on Shabbat? Very often, I'm sure games are on Shabbat. How does that work?
Yeah, in college, usually you play Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and then one on Tuesday, like one in the middle of the week. So for me as a pitcher, you can't really pitch every single day. You need some days of rest, so you could just pitch on Friday during the day if the game's early enough, or it's a lot easier to work around that. Same thing with a catcher. I mean, you don't. It's hard to catch every single day. I guess Ellie could speak more to that. But I know at Sac State we've made the games on Friday earlier in the day, so they're not at night, so we can play in those. And sometimes the Saturday games will be at night, so if it's the right time of year, then you can sort of catch the end of the game after Shabbos ends. So they definitely help us out. I think one thing my dad has told us growing up is like, if you're good, they'll make it work. Like if you help the team win, then they'll help you out with trying to make more games.
So they've really accommodated your schedule.
Yeah, the best they can.
Hmm. Wow, interesting. And did you like what about kosher? Like when you're traveling, how does that work?
Honestly, coach is pretty easy when you travel. I mean, most of the places we go are kind of bigger cities, so there's always restaurants. There's always like catering places that this team will just order from. Because on the road they order food for the team. They'll
Mhm.
get stuff from like restaurants and stuff, and so for us it's the same thing. They just get it from a different spot. But every once in a while we'll be in the middle of nowhere, and we'll find some Chabad rabbi who's also in the middle of nowhere, and they'll help us out.
Can you tell us about any of those places? Do you remember any
Uh,
places where you
the
went
one that
that
stands
were
out is we were in, or Ari wasn't with me yet, but we were playing University of Texas Rio Grande Valley, and it was in Edinburgh, Texas, which is like 15 minutes from Mexico. And there
mm,
was like nothing really there except for a Chabad rabbi, and they had like a little store there. And so me and one like the coach went over there, and we just like got a bunch of food, and that kind of like got me enough for the weekend.
interesting? Wow. Do you what's your favorite place that you've ever traveled to?
Ooh, that's a good question.
For
I
baseball or
always
in
like,
general?
um, I always like the
Well,
Arizona ones. We're pretty close with Chabad of Phoenix, so it's always
mhm.
good to see them. And Arizona's a cool place.
Yeah, Arizona's great. Was there another place that you had,
No, I mean,
Ari?
growing up, like we played a lot of tournaments in Southern California and Arizona. That's where a lot of them were. Um, I know this year, like for our schedule, we're playing a few teams on the East Coast. We're going to like Louisiana State and LSU. We're going to like Kansas. So those are places I'd never played before. So I'm excited for that.
Mhm, mhm. Are you comfortable with telling your teammates or your fans all about your Judaism, and how do you do that? Like,
Well,
do
yeah,
people know about it when you play?
they know it's impossible for them not to know when you're not there on
What
Saturday. But um,
right.
I mean, they just have questions. Is really what it is. Like, and then they're curious, and you answer their questions, and then they're like, "Oh, that's interesting." Most of them have never really heard of what we do.
Right. They haven't heard of Torah, they haven't heard of Jews. What is it?
I mean, they've heard of Jews, but like, and they probably heard of Orthodox Jews. They've like heard the name, but they don't really know what it entails with kosher and with Shabbos. But I mean, it's been pretty positive. If anything, like when we get our separate food, like after games, they're like, "Oh, your food looks way better than ours." So,
Right. How do you explain to them about your kosher diet?
I usually just say like in the Torah and the Bible, it lists foods that you can and cannot eat, and we abide by that. And you know, can't mix milk and meat, and like the big things that I think are important for them to know.
Have you had any interesting conversations about your faith with your teammates or with people in your professional life?
I mean, I feel like all of them are pretty interesting. I mean, everyone comes from different backgrounds, so they're some people are from New York and they've seen many from Jews in their life, but they don't really know what it is. And then there's some people that they've never really they don't know that they ever met a Jew in their life. So it's always a little interesting to like see the reactions. But I think honestly, a lot of them are very similar conversations, similar questions. Um, but yeah, it's always interesting to kind of teach them a little bit.
Do you remember any such conversations that stick out?
All right, do you have any?
I don't know about specific conversations. I mean, they ask sometimes about like stuff like what do we believe about certain issues, and I think what I find usually is we believe the same things. Like most of these guys are Christian and they're religious. They believe in God and all that. Um, so yeah, I think they're surprised that we believe the same things as them,
Hmm,
which to me I thought was obvious. But as far as just like
interesting.
morals and values and things like that,
Right. Have you encountered anti-Semitism in your playing, in your lives?
not
Not to my
not yeah, not
face.
to my face.
Not to my face.
Not to your face. What does that mean, not to your face?
No one's ever said it to me, and I don't know if it happened behind my back. So
Oh, okay. Okay, so you feel pretty comfortable in who you
yeah,
are and what you
Yeah,
believe.
yeah. I mean, I think
Ho
it's as
how
long as
does
you portray yourself in like a respectful manner and you treat other people well, people don't really care that much about what you believe or what you do. They're more interested
Mhm.
in what we do, but as long as you kind of represent yourself in a good way, they all take it very well.
Do they feel like is it a burden for them to not play at certain times on Shabbat or Friday night, like, to make it earlier to accommodate you? Have you found
Maybe
any
a slight inconvenience for some people, but it really like in the grand scheme of things, it's not a big deal for them in terms
Right,
of like a game time.
right. Um, how do you feel about the fact that you represent Jews? Like, what would your message be to young people who are striving to become something in the secular world, whether it's in the field of baseball or in other areas? What message would you give to them about Judaism and their faith and doing what they're doing or what they hope to do?
I would say to stay strong in who you are as a Jew, and when you waver or like do like you keep Shabbos sometimes or keep kosher sometimes, then like they don't respect you for that. But when you do it all the time, no matter what, like no matter if it's a practice 4 months away from the season or it's the championship, if it's on Saturday, like we're not going to play. And I think people respect that no matter how big the game is, nothing's bigger than God and nothing's bigger than Shabbos.
I mean, people
Mm,
see that you believe in it, they believe that you believe in it. I mean, like, and so they
mm,
want to help you. But if they don't think you need the help, then they're not going to accommodate you in any way.
mm. Right. How has your Jewish teachings helped you in what you do in terms of perseverance or fortitude?
I think just like having just like faith in Hashem and Hashem's plan. Because baseball, I mean, a little bit less on the pitching side, but when you're hitting, if you fail 7 out of 10 times, you're going to the Hall of Fame. So
Mm,
you fail a lot, and it's not easy to fail a lot. So I think the understanding of knowing that Hashem has a plan, no matter how hard or easy it is, like just having that faith all the time it's a little bit less of a burden, I think, than a lot of other players have to go through.
hmm. Can you walk us through that? Like, because I know so many people feel so disappointed in things that they've tried and they haven't accomplished. So, like, give us a feeling of what it feels like to fail at something or fail or stumble in one game, and then what would you how would you talk to yourself through it?
Yeah, I mean, I can't say that I'm the best at it in the moment. But you have a bad game or you have a bad season or something, and you kind of feel like you let yourself down and you let a lot of other people down, especially when you know that you're capable of doing more. I mean, that's hard, but then you see things start to go up, and you see yourself, you improve at things, maybe you move on to a better place, whatever it is. I think you kind of start to see that like maybe I didn't do well here because I need to do well in a different place, or I didn't do well at this time
Mm,
because I need to learn from that so I can be even better the next time. So I think just having failed, if I go up there and strike out and I'm like, okay, I need to make this adjustment, and I would never have came to that realization, that would have helped me for the rest of my career if I didn't strike out in that moment. So I think
mm,
it's hard in the moment, but if you can do the best you can to be positive about the situation and understand that whatever's going to happen not all in your hands. So I think that's a good message.
So, so it's an opportunity for growth, you mean? It's an
Yeah,
opportunity to learn better, to do better.
100%.
Right. Right. Ari, what do you say?
I mean, I would agree with faith in Hashem is um, a big theme when you just learn Torah, and that's helped me a lot. I mean, failing, it's just something that like in baseball is just going to happen, like whether you want it to or not, and like you learn the hard way how to deal with it. And I think my point of view I've been adopting recently is being able to like sort of separate yourself from the game. Like you always want to pitch
Mhm.
well, or you always want to play well, but if you don't play well, like at the end of the day, like I have a good life, thank God, and like it's gonna be okay.
Mhm.
Like the sun's gonna come up tomorrow, and while I love baseball, it's not the most important thing ever, and I think that's a good mindset. So I mean, you can apply that to wherever you, whatever aspect of life. If it's business, obviously business is important, making money is important, but being able to go home and separate yourself from it, I think is important to not get too stressed and caught up in everything.
That's a great point. Yeah, sometimes when a day is really bad, I say tomorrow is going to be totally better,
Exactly.
completely different. And there's other parts to life than just what you were working on. That gives you a little perspective on it.
hmm
That's great. What Can you tell us like a favorite Jewish teaching that you both have, that each of you have?
Hmm.
Jewish teaching, that's a good question. I think, I mean, a very simple one is like treat others like how you want to be treated, and love your fellow Jew or your fellow, because I think the like the energy that you give with that, and if you're kind to someone, they want to be kind to you. You know, if you're a positive person and and you kind of exude that around other people, then like people are going to want to be positive around you, and it's just kind of like a, I think that kind of represents relationships very well.
Hmm,
I think it
that's great.
I think it says in Pirkei Avos to greet everyone with a cheerful countenance. Maybe that's not the exact
Hmm,
words, but I think that's with what we do, just being a good person makes people like maybe less wary of something that they don't know a lot about, and maybe like if you don't know something, you're maybe more prone to be hateful towards it because you don't understand it. But just for like we're the examples for everyone we meet of Orthodox Jews. Like they think an
hmm,
Orthodox Jew is only the guy with like payas and a hat, and
hmm,
we're I think representatives that I mean, we're good people, we're normal people, and I think we almost have to take it upon ourselves to be, not that we're forcing being nice. I mean, we're nice people, but
mhm.
to be nice to people and be good people.
To be that example for others. Do you look at it as a burden or as an opportunity that you are that representative of what a Torah Jew is, an Orthodox Jew is?
No, it's not a burden at all. I mean, honestly, like I think we're just being ourselves. But when you take a
Mhm.
step back and look at it, like we really are representatives of Orthodox Judaism for these people. But it's an opportunity for sure.
And what would you want people to know about Orthodox Judaism that you think they don't know?
Maybe that Orthodox Jews come in all shapes and sizes. We don't look one way, and we're not some like weird like insular doesn't want to like talk to anyone. Can we like, we're people, and we have our beliefs and our
Mhm,
traditions, and we hold strong to those. But we're just people, I guess.
I mean, I would say
mhm,
that people should kind of see that it's a beautiful religion that should be respected. Not everyone needs to follow it or agree with it, but it's just something that in the real world that I feel like people should respect just like anybody else, which I feel like sometimes has been lost in the past couple of years.
absolutely. What about before a game? Like, do you ever pray to God? Do you have any rituals that you do?
Oh, 100%. Yeah, I mean, I feel like every day I pray. But like sometimes when the if the moment's big or the pressure's there, sometimes just like taking yourself out of it and letting Hashem take over is something that I like to do.
Yeah, I mean, I've like
Hmm.
said to Hillen before a meeting with a coach one time. So if if I feel like I need it, I'll do it.
Will you do it in front of them? Like, how
No,
does
it's
that
just
work?
like not in front of him before I go in.
I remember I once gave a speech for a crowd, and I said a chapter of Tehillim of Psalms right beforehand. And after my speech, which I thought was fantastic, a lady came over to me and she's like, "I have really one question." I thought, "Oh, for sure she's going to ask about my speech," and instead she says, "I saw you mumbling something before you spoke. Can you tell us about that?" And that was what she was really interested in, the prayer, which is interesting. Can you tell us a little about like a typical day, what a day would look like?
Uh, you can go first.
So for me, there's sort of different state. Like we have the fall semester where it's like just practice, then the season's in the spring. So earlier in the fall we would play like inter squad scrimmages against each other, but right now it's a lot more chill. So I think this week it's like Monday, Wednesday, Friday we have weights in the morning at like 7:30, and then class 10, 12, during the morning, midday, and then practice. It's pretty short nowadays. In the afternoon, like 3 o'clock, and then that's it.
Hmm,
Yeah, I mean, for me today, like we had weights at 6 o'clock this morning. I came home, took a nap because that's really early.
hmm,
I don't have class today, so usually I'll make food and then I'll go to the field at around noon to like 1, somewhere around there. And I'll probably be at the field until 5 or 6.
hmm,
Luckily here we have nice facilities that you can just do your homework at, or you can um, get something to eat and kind of just hang around a little bit. So I'll be doing hitting and catching and throwing and stuff for a while, and then just kind of relax. But I know pitchers, they have a little bit less to do. So
yeah. Uh-huh. How many hours would you say you'd spend in training, like per week?
I
Oof.
mean, for me, it's probably like at this time when we're not playing in the lighter weeks, it'll probably be like 4, 3.
For a week?
Oh no, per day. So a week,
Oh, per day, right?
multiply that by 6.
Right.
Math, I don't know,
Wow,
24
like
hours.
20,
Yeah.
24 hours a week. Wow.
But I mean, some days, like when we have games, I'll be at the field from get there at 9 a.m. and leave at 4 or 5 p.m. So
Mhm.
Yeah.
That- Similar to you.
Yeah. Similar to
Similar.
me. Yeah.
Yeah. Wow. So that's like really a lot of dedication to the sport.
yeah,
How do you teach yourself to have that self-discipline?
I
I
think it
mean,
just comes with how you go about every day. Like this, you have a goal that you want to play professional baseball and a goal that you want to play in the major leagues, or when we were younger, you want to play in college baseball. Like you understand that that doesn't just happen. You have to do something to make that happen. Um, you have to get stronger. You have to get better at what you do every day. So you just kind of know, like, if I want to be successful, then this is what I have to do. And then
Mm,
college is that another level of, you're going to school like everybody else is going to school, but you're also spending all that time with your sport. So you kind of learn to balance everything, but you also understand that, like, this is the work I need to put in to be successful.
mm,
I'd say for me, it's
right.
just I don't think of it as work. It's just fun. Like I love to play baseball.
Mm,
And like yeah, like it's annoying getting up early in the morning to lift weights, but I think that's part of what makes it fun. Like we played together in summer in a collegiate league in the summer, and sometimes we'd travel. We'd get up at like 6 a.m. and take a 4 hour bus ride, and like that sucks, but it's fun. Like
mm,
when baseball's over, like you're gonna look back at that, and like those are actually the most fun times when you really had to grind. It was just like you and your teammates and the friends you make. So I'm never like burdened to go to the field. I don't know. It's just fun for me.
mm. Interesting. It's gotta be fun if you're spending so much time at it.
Yeah.
Was this always something that you really enjoyed so much, or was there a time in your life when you didn't think that this might be your future?
I remember when I was like 8 or 9, I like did not like going to practice ever, but I was 9, so like who cares? I,
I mean, honestly, from the time I could remember, like, this is all I ever really wanted to do. I never had like any other aspirations, really.
Did you feel pushed into it because your father was and your uncle, I believe, are in the promotion of
You know,
baseball teams and sports?
my father, like, I mean, he'd asked us if we wanted to play when we were younger, but he never said like you have to play. It was really
Mhm,
all from us.
yeah, baseball was just around. It was on the TV. It was around our house, and we were drawn to it. We played other sports growing up too, in middle school and elementary school, but baseball stuck.
mm. What about your twin sister? Does she play sports?
She did some swimming in high school, but she's a smart one, so she's in dental school right now, actually.
Uh-huh. Okay. So you spoke a lot about, how much time you spend on baseball and training. What about like learning Torah or keeping up with your Torah education? How does that work?
Yeah, so me, Ari, and my father, every day we do Tanya, Chumash, and Rashi.
Mm,
We find a time. I think what are we, like 4 or 5 years of
Yeah, it's been a
doing
long
it every
time.
week. We fall behind sometimes, but we always catch up. Um, so it's nice we kind of find a time to learn something every day. Obviously, with our schedule, like we don't have the most time to do stuff, but we try to do things when we can.
Yeah, and our dad's really on us about if we miss a day, we make up the day. I mean, we've had times where we fall if like there's Chagim and stuff, and we fall behind a week, like we're gonna make up the week. Like we're not gonna skip a week ahead. That's his thing.
Wow. So you learn it together? You
Yeah, on
study
the
it
phone, yeah.
together? Isn't that nice? Wow, that's incredible. How does that forge your relationship? Like, how does that affect your relationship with your father? I mean, not everyone's on their phone with their father every day
I
at
mean,
your age.
our father, I mean, since he like coached us growing up, he introduced us
Mhm.
to baseball. So I mean, obviously we're close with him. He's our father, but I'd say we have an interesting relationship with him. Like we definitely go back and forth a little bit, like joke with each other. But yeah, talking to him every day definitely forges a relationship.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
it's kind of a nice way to be like, we're all really far away, so like it's the way for that we can be close is we learn every
mm,
day. Um,
connects you,
yeah,
right.
yeah. I don't know if we would. I don't mean actually we probably would talk to him every day. He would probably call us every day, but um, yeah, that's kind of like our thing we do every day.
Well, what's it like having a father as a coach?
It's really good and really bad. A
In
lot of
what
people
way?
a lot of people don't appreciate like when coaches play or plays despite their skill level. Um, we ran into that a little bit, or like kids coming up to me like, "Why are we
What do you mean by that?
like in high school?" Like especially my senior year, like I was the best player on the team, and there was people complaining about like where I was hitting in the batting lineup because they thought my
Mm,
father was the coach was the reason like it was happening.
mm,
So that's like a little bit difficult to deal with, or people coming up to me and like getting mad at me about what he did for some coaching thing, and I'm like, I'm not him, so you gotta get to go talk to him.
right,
So,
right,
but
that's
it's
hard
nice
to
to kind
take
of
responsibility.
yeah, I mean, it's kind of nice to do that with your father though. Like it's worth it, I would say.
Mm,
Until I don't think I could do it past high school, but it was fun while we did it.
Yeah, sometimes you
mm,
need that separation. I think like one issue probably Ellie's dealt with more than me is like if you have a bad game or a bad few games, like you just want to like go to bed. Like you don't want to talk about it and like
right.
but I think I told Ellie this in the summer. Like it's like I haven't really talked to reporters ever, but like it's probably like talking to reporters after a game. Like you go in the clubhouse and you're like mad and you have
Right.
to recount your entire game to your dad. But obviously
Right,
he's there to
right.
help us, and we love that he's
I mean,
helping us.
probably has the best view of who we are as players because
Yeah,
he's watched us since we could walk. So,
Right.
um, it's not always
Well,
easiest to hear it from your father, but sometimes you just have to say,
yeah.
this guy might know best.
right. What about your mother? Does she feel left out in this?
She just happy that we're happy. That's all she cares about.
Okay.
She's the one that we'll go to after the game because she's not going to ask us about it.
Yeah.
Right. Uh-huh. So you said you learn every day, Tanya. Can you tell us something from Hasidic teachings that inspires you?
Um,
I mean, something specific. I would think something just general is like we talked about before, faith in God and having a trust that everything's going to be the way God turned out or wants it to turn out.
I
Mhm.
mean, in Tanya, like we're talking about, I mean, I can't even fully grasp it, but all these like the different levels and the worlds and the world to come and the lower worlds, upper worlds. And when you really think about that, it's like my single time I struck out is probably not that important in the grand scheme of
Mhm.
things. It kind of I think puts things into perspective sometimes.
Mhm. Yeah, it's really true. I mean, you learn you're so involved with what you're doing sometimes that we get so involved, and then you kind of open up the Torah and you see, wow, life is a lot bigger than I thought, and there's a place for so many things, right? So many parts
Yeah, I mean
that
nothing gets me back to normal after a bad game than Shabbos. I'll tell you that.
Well, tell us about your Shabbos. What does it look like, and why do you love it so much?
I think for me, it's a time to because during the week, as we were kind of talking about earlier, where we're there for so many hours a day, and you're so engrossed in everything that's going on in the team, that when like Shabbos is the separator from that. So we kind of, you were in Shul, here at Michigan, we have student dinners on Friday. Um,
Mm,
and so it's kind of like we get a chance to know other people on campus. We get a chance to
mhm,
kind of separate ourselves from the baseball world a little bit. And so I think that realization is kind of like it resets you a little bit.
mm. Is that at the Chabad house where you have the dinner, the
Yeah,
Shabbat dinners?
yeah.
Who can you tell us more about that? Like, explain what that's like?
Yeah, so there's usually anywhere from like 100 to 250 students will come to Chabad
Wow.
of University of Michigan. Um, yeah, I mean, you get to know different people on campus. Different people show up every time. I mean, there's obviously like the crowd that comes a lot, and then there's the crowd that kind of filters in and out. So you get a chance to know a bunch of people. Um, but yeah, it's a nice community here.
Hmm. Really nice. Ari, what's your Shabbat like?
So there's no Chabad on campus at Sac State, but I just go to the Chabad of Sacramento, which is like 10 minutes from my house, and it's a really good experience. So I stay at the shul because they have like a house next to it because I'm not really in
Mhm.
walking distance from my house. And that's one. I mean, wherever we go for Shabbos, we've had somewhere to stay, which is just a testament to how inviting the Chabad community is. And when I was in junior college in Southern California, I went to Chabad of UCI with the Tenenbaums, and I stayed at their house too because I didn't live in walking distance either. But
Hmm.
it's been a great community. The Chabad community, wherever we've went, has been a home for us.
Hmm. That's great. What do you guys do to inspire yourself?
For baseball or for Torah or for
Torah is great. Baseball is great. Anything. I mean, we'd love to hear the Torah perspective too.
I mean, I think just having the goal in mind of like I want to be in the major leagues and realizing that it's a process to get there every day. And
Mhm.
actually I think it was on Sukkot at Shul, this Israeli guy was talking to me about business and his whole mindset on business, and he was talking about how like, my wife wants a Porsche, and in 3 years she's
Mhm.
gonna get a Porsche, and I want an Aston Martin, and in 3 years I'm gonna have an Aston Martin. And it like put into perspective how I've always thought about baseball, like I think I'm gonna get to the big leagues. Like it's not gonna be easy, but the way he put it, the analogy he said was like it's like putting directions in to go to the grocery store. Like you're gonna get there. You just have to follow the directions. So I think that
Mhm.
applies to Torah and to baseball. Connecting with God more and with making the major leagues, you just have to learn Torah every day, do what you can every single day and sort of follow the directions and eventually you're gonna get there.
Mhm.
Yeah, I was gonna say something similar about the process. Just that, I mean, for both Judaism and baseball, like you get the idea is to improve and get better every day. You don't have to be perfect tomorrow or today, but just getting a little bit better every day in both aspects, I think, is a good goal.
Hmm. Keep trying to get higher. And when you don't feel like you're getting higher, when you feel like it's just you're staying at a plateau, what do you do?
You gotta
Just
keep
gotta fight
pushing.
through it. Yeah,
The
just
the
gotta
plat
fight through it.
plateaus are only real if you stop. If you keep going, then eventually you're gonna keep ascending.
Right. Wow, that's good. So I know I mean, you keep saying you really want to go to the major leagues. What if you don't get in? Or do you not let that be a possibility?
And it's a possibility, and you figure it out. I mean, I'm a smart guy. Figure something out.
Right. And what do you think like life will be like family life would be like as a player in the major leagues?
I mean, there's a lot of travel, so you're definitely gonna have to have a family that is built for that. I
Mm,
mean, the season's 6 months, so you're home. I mean, it depends if you live where your team is or you go back home to where you're originally from. But yeah, I mean, you're traveling maybe for a couple weeks at a time, and it's just something you gotta be prepared to deal with.
mhm. Ellie, you feel the same way, I guess.
Yeah, I mean that's gonna be a good problem to have. So
Right.
we'll cross that bridge when we get there.
Right. Right. What message would you like to tell people who are listening to this?
I mean, my message has always been not to sacrifice who you are for what you want to do. They don't have to be two separate things. Um, I mean, with us especially, like we don't sacrifice playing on Shabbos for playing, and it's worked for us every step along the way. And so there's no reason that it can't work if you just stay strong in who you are and I mean, if you provide something, especially for us, like our father always told us, like if you're good, they'll help you out.
Mm,
But like if you just stay strong in your faith, people will help you.
mm,
Yeah, definitely stay strong in what you believe and your Judaism and your whatever you want to do in the secular world. They're not mutually exclusive. You can do them together. That's the message I would have.
beautiful. Has Shabbat always been a part of your lives?
Yeah.
Yep. We grew up with both of our parents being from, and that was something we did our whole life.
Mhm. Amazing. Okay. We wish you tremendous success. Thank you so much for being part of this interview, and we hope to see you in the big times, in the big
Amen.
league.
Thanks for having us.
Thanks for
We'll
having
have a
us.
new interview once you're on there.
All right.
Okay. Thank you so much for joining us.
All right.
Be well. I love when we interview young people who are so resolute and so firm in their beliefs. It gives you so much pride to see young people who are so strong in doing what they believe in. There was no conflict whatsoever with Ellie and Ari in terms of keeping Shabbat, keeping kosher. I thought when I started the interview that there might be some times of conflict, but with them it was just such a given that this is who they are and what they are, and their pride in doing that was just a given. This is who we are, and their firmness in being true to what they are. I thought it was an important point that they said that when you are true to who you are and you show people that you are like that consistently, then people accept you, that this is what you are, and people don't expect you to bend. However, when we are kind of going back and forth and we're not so firm on who we are and our beliefs, that's when there could be conflict. I really appreciated that the teams are changing their schedules and accommodating the schedules of these boys. I liked what they said about self discipline because they're obviously spending a lot of time training and they have their goal very intent in their mind. They really want to get to the major leagues and they're training to do that. And to them, it's just keeping in mind that perspective, keeping in mind what they're hoping to get to. I also liked what they said about when things don't go as well as we plan. And they spoke about when they've had a bad game or when they've had a bad day and just being able to focus on how to improve because of it, how to work on ourselves and learn from that situation, and B, wow, they said about keeping it in perspective that there's more to life than just that. And I think that was a lesson for each and every one of us that we can apply to our own lives. If you enjoy these interviews, I'd love to hear from you. Please drop us a line. Tell us what you enjoyed about this interview, what you enjoy about the interviews in general, what you'd like to see in the future. We'd love to hear your feedback. We really appreciate anyone and everyone who writes. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you are subscribed to Chabad.org/extraordinary. You can find us as well on Spotify if you're on the go or on YouTube. Please subscribe there as well so that you make sure that you get it regularly. And thank you so much for watching and for being part of this extraordinary community.